you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Can I confess something to you? As a longtime California voter, I am so over our ballot proposition process. So many ballot measures, so little time. Too often our so-called leaders don't really lead, and too often many of these ballot measures are misleading. I mean, does yes or no mean I'm voting for it or against it? Talk about a ball of confusion. But here's what I know for sure. I am abundantly clear about yes on Measure A, which would create thousands of new affordable housing units and expand drug and mental health treatment. Every day I step outside our radio station here in Leimert Park, I see what happens when we neglect, when we avoid addressing these critical issues in our beloved community. It is quite candidly a shame and a disgrace. And no, it's not just you. I am personally calling City Hall and care agencies routinely as well. Is this the Tavis Smiley? Yes, it is. I refuse to let the suffering of our people get rendered invisible. Frankly, the reason I'm talking to you about this right now on the radio is because I have not seen the kind of leadership I had expected and hoped to see to get Measure A passed. I guess my hope needs some help. So, I'm sharing this message with you with the hope that you will do the right thing for them and for us. And just so you don't get it twisted, them is us. Yes on A. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Compliment what she does. Send her roses just because. If it's violin she loves, let them play. Dedicate her favorite song and hold her closer all night long. Love her today, find 100 ways.
We're celebrating some of the best of Quincy Jones. It is impossible weaving in and out of these conversations to do justice to his body of work, but we've given you some of the TV shows he did theme songs for: Ironside, Sanford and Son, Let That Ride, Miles. We've given you some of his own stuff on The Dude and back.
Won't help you keep the love warm. You'll just blow your own chance. Take the time to open up your heart. That's the secret of romance. Sacrifice if you can. Buy her some moonlight to wear. If it's one more star she wants, go all the way.
Quincy and James Ingram had some amazing collaborations, not just this track, but you serious Quincy Jones fans know that it was James Ingram who wrote the song PYT, Pretty Young Thing, that Michael made a huge hit. So people that he kept around him, and he produced some of the best music we have ever heard. And so we celebrate the life and legacy of Quincy Jones, dead yesterday here in LA at his home in Bel Air at the age of 91. A full hour tribute to Quincy. Wednesday, we'll get past Election Day tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we're going to give Quincy some more love in our final hour. In this final hour today, as promised, 3 conversations. We've been trying to squeeze an 80-pound show into a 40-pound bag all day today. So much show. We'll talk in a little bit to Adam Schiff, who I suspect will be the next United States Senator from California, taking the seat that Dianne Feinstein held for 31 years. We'll talk to Adam Schiff later in this hour. We'll talk to our guy, our White House correspondent, Nee Corte, who's on the ground right now in the swingiest of swing states, Pennsylvania, and he'll be at Harris headquarters tomorrow at Howard University for us. And so we'll talk to Nee Corte at the end of this hour. But I'm honored to have in studio the former mayor of the City of Angels, Antonio Villaraigosa, and many believe, including yours truly, that he is likely the next governor of the state of California. And he's a big-time Democrat, so we're talking to a lot of big-time Democrats today. We talked to Bob Strum, we talked to James Clyburn, and now we're talking to Antonio Villaraigosa. Mr. Mayor, how are you, sir?
I couldn't be better, Tavis. I'm here with you, enjoying this day, but as you did when I woke up this morning and heard about Quincy, I had some good times with him, and I was sharing with you just a minute ago that I happened to sit with him at the Grammys 2 years running, and one day we were both kind of singing to this country western song, and I said to him, Quincy, I never thought I'd like some of this music, and he said, there's only 8 notes in music. We might as well enjoy all of them. And we just kept on,
No, he was fond of saying there ain't but 2 kinds of music, good and bad. So that was his refrain. But I'm gonna miss that guy, man. I love him, and I figured as mayor of this city, you had some stories hanging out with him, as we all did. So. We love, and miss Quincy Jones. Let me make the most of the time we have. When we come forward, I want to jump into a serious conversation with you about a couple of things. One, about how you're feeling the day before Election Day. I just talked to James Clyburn a moment ago, and I asked him, how are you feeling on the eve of this election with this woman versus how you felt with Hillary Clinton on the eve of that election that didn't turn out against this same guy the way many of us hoped and believed that it would. So he gave his answers. I want to just check your gut when we come forward about how you're feeling the day before, number one. Number two, I want to talk about the Latino vote, all-important vote tomorrow, and what your read of that, Mayor Villaraigosa, is. And then I want to spend just a few minutes just talking about what you're doing in this campaign out here in California. Our guest is the former mayor of the city of L.A., Antonio Villaraigosa. Honored to have him right now on Tavis Smiley.
From Leimert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
KBLA Talk 1580 is here for you as you make your voting plan. And we've got a few things you may want to know. In the state of California, you can register to vote all the way up until the last day to vote, which is November 5th. In LA County, you may vote at any voting center or polling place of your choosing. Early voting has already started, both in person and by mail. If you need information about your registration or any election question, call the Registrar of Voters at 800-815-2666. That's 800-815-2666, or visit lavote.gov. Once you fill out your mail-in ballot, you may drop it in any county election mailbox found outside places like libraries, or you could drop it off with a poll worker at any vote center. If you suspect election foul play, voter suppression or intimidation, or other irregularities, or if you need to know more about your rights, call the Election Protection Hotline at 1-866-OUR-VOTE. That's 866-687-8683. From any state. And if you need more information on specific candidates or propositions, check out our interviews and analysis on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, November 5th is the last day to vote, and the sooner we do it, the better. helping you vote like your life depended on it, because it does. Your election information station, KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
He's a paradigm pioneer and the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
We're celebrating Quincy Jones today. Passed away here in LA yesterday at the age of 91, in case you're just tuning in, at his home in Bel Air. And Quincy did, I used to tease him all the time. I said, Q, you've done everything with everybody all over the world at least twice. And if you know Quincy's backstory, as a young man, he played with Count Basie. This is a track that he produced for Count Basie called Count 'Em. And so Quincy had the honor of working with everybody, and they had the honor, of course, of working with Quincy. So we'll celebrate Quincy more on our program in the last hour on Wednesday, but this track, again, is from Count Basie. It's called Count 'Em. All right, we continue our dialogue now with, start our dialogue, really, with the former mayor of L.A., Antonio Villaraigosa. I want to make the most of these 20 minutes or so. Let me start with this. I've been asking everybody else the same question. The day before, how are you feeling?
Anxious, apprehensive, excited about the future. Should we win? Concerned about it. Should we lose? All of us who know Kamala know that she's someone that wants to bring our country together. And I've never seen this country as polarized and divided, in no small part because the man, candidate on the other side, is someone who just spent all his time dividing people on the head of a pin. All the things that make us different, I think the turnout is what's the difference. We have a better ground game. I think the country is clearly evenly divided, and it's just going to be who gets their vote out.
Yeah. There's been so much conversation about the Latino vote, and I want to just go broad, the Spanish-speaking vote, because we saw that whole meltdown, that Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden a week or so ago. James Clyburn referenced it earlier on today's program. But I'm reading polls, studies. The Latino community, as you well know, is not a monolith any more than the black community is monolithic. But what's your gut tell you about how this Latino vote goes tomorrow?
I think the Latino vote will favor Kamala. Just by how much? Historically, we were around 65% Democrat. It looks like closer to 55, mostly because of young men, but men overall. I think there's a feeling that working for him. And, of course, Trump has done a really good job at pitting folks against that arguing that his economy would benefit these people who, in large part, like American men in this country. Not everyone, of course, not monolithic, as you said, but there are a lot of people hungry, a lot of people barely making ends meet. And they're forgetting what life was like during the pandemic. They're forgetting nations to use bleach and everything else. And so my sense is it's going to be very, very close, very close.
You have done your part, of course, to help Kamala get elected. You did help Karen Bass get elected as the first black woman mayor. I work for Tom Bradley, as you well know.
And I'm here today on the shoulders of Tom Bradley, and I always remind people of that.
You do indeed. You're always kind to say that. So you helped Karen Bass get elected here, and that was a big deal, having a black woman lead a city as large as the city of LA, and now we could have a as president. But talk to me about what you see, what you have seen, how things are different when a black woman gets a chance to lead.
Well, I remember reading something that says, what is important as knowledge asks the mind, caring and seeing with the heart answer the soul. Women tend to see with the heart. I think they care about families. They care about children. They care about issues like child care and health care, and they care about a woman's right to make decisions, healthcare decisions about her body. They believe in second chances. Mamas always do, they believe in second chances,
Second, third.
Right. We've all made mistakes. They've chronicled mine enough, but God is good, and importantly, people took a chance on me, and I did. I tried to come through, and I think that's what you see with Karen, somebody who's focused on homelessness, someone who believes in treating these people with compassion, but also, doing everything we can to provide the safety net that moves these people from homelessness to housing. So I see a woman, who inherited, let's be honest, a city that was a lot dirtier, a lot less safe, more homeless than when I left it. And she had this gargantuan task of turning a ship around. So I'm a fan, and not because I've known her for 51 years. When people talk about police abuse, she and I met in the Coalition Against Police Abuse. Michael Zinzun, Anthony Thigpen, all those folks who were involved in that, that's where we met. And she has always committed herself to bringing black and brown families together, to black and brown youth, around improving the quality of their neighborhood. And so I see the same with Kamala. I think this is a woman who understands that men have to defend a woman's right to make healthcare decisions that affect their body. The government shouldn't be in that business. Churches shouldn't be in that business. And so I think she also, understand that when you provide health care to somebody, you're doing something that should be a right. Everybody ought to have health care.
That's right.
The only question is how you deliver it, and it should be quality health care. And when I mentioned child care as an example, if we want people to work, someone needs to help with the children. That all of the man working, they don't make enough to work on their own, to keep a family on their own. And so when both people are working, they need child care. They need a basic safety net so they can thrive and contribute to our economy. And I think women understand that. I'm not saying that men don't.
Sure.
I certainly wouldn't be a candidate if I thought men didn't. I grew up in a matriarchy with a single mom, and my auntie, although she wasn't a single mom, to those duties, and I watched them sacrifice and keep our families together, and did a good job without the safety net that they need. They'd have done a better job if they had had it.
Yeah. You mentioned, I want to go back to my time here. I want to go back to this issue of coalition. You didn't. I want to use it now because I'm curious as to what your assessment is of the Democratic coalition in 2024. Is that because you pulled together a coalition to become mayor for a couple of terms? Tom Bradley did it back in 1973. Karen Bass has done it here in L.A. Kamala Harris is going to have to do that if she wins this thing tomorrow? The Democratic coalition and what you think the state of it is. We'll find out in a couple of days. We'll know for sure. What's your read of it on election eve?
I think the coalition is a coalition of the willing, of people who want to work to that toward that more perfect union. Found others. There were mothers there, but they didn't include them. There were blacks and Native Americans.
Didn't include them either.
They didn't include them either. But the ideas are universal.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that we should always strive to make our democracy more inclusive, make our democracy more reflective of the words, those beautiful words in the Constitution, Bill of Rights, which, as we know, were an accurate reflection of what was going on. And so I think that coalition is a coalition of every one of us. Unfortunately, right now, the other side is trying to divide us, as has always been the case, pit one of us the other. And I'm not just talking about pitting black and brown. We're all human beings, man. I think the older you get, you realize, all people are good. Some people are better than others. But at the end of the day, nobody has a monopoly on. But what you see on that other side is a coalition of hate, a coalition of divisiveness against one another. And for me, it started with black and brown because, I came out of the civil rights movement, as you know, and the Chicano movement, and I've always said, I never would have gotten elected. It wasn't just Tom Bradley. It's that we had a Voting Rights Act. It's that we had a Civil Rights Act. It's that we said our kids ought to be able to go to school with, kids from Europe, be segregated. The Mendes decision in 1945, that was the predicate for Brown versus education. And so it seems to me that those of us who believe that it's our duty to make our democracy work and be more inclusive, we got to keep on fighting in this election and beyond.
This is a philosophical issue, and then I want to close in the last few minutes talking about the governor's race here in California. But I don't really know how I feel about it. I'm going to process days as I've been processing it for weeks now. But I don't know that I've ever endured anything that has ever been as fear-based as this one. And I'm not suggesting there aren't legitimate reasons for that fear if you believe that Donald Trump, many of us do, I certainly do, is an existential threat to our democracy. But this notion of encouraging folk to get out born of their fear about the future, I don't know what the question is, but it's been bothering me.
Well, fear is a great motivator.
Yeah.
So is love.
Yeah.
And joy. Fear sometimes prevails.
Yep.
There's no question about it. Remember my first election? We can't trust Antonio Villaraigosa. The city's going to go to hell in a handbasket if we elect him. It's going to go rampant. So it wins times, but not all the time. And we just got to stay true to our belief that America's better and all of us can grow together. That America's stronger when we celebrate what we have in common, but also our differences. And it seems to me that we got a lot of work to do because this guy has been very successful at, igniting the embers always there, but turning it into a raging prairie fire.
I caught him a few years ago, a number of years ago. In fact, I called him a racial. He's a racial. And I stand by that. I've got 3 minutes left, 3 tight minutes, and I want to close with this. And I think you'll take my point. I'm glad you're running for governor of California, but why? Without the game these days, you were in well, you got out of it. Why you want to get back in, man?
People.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great state. We love to talk about how we're the fourth largest economy in the world with the highest effective poverty rate. You know, when I was mayor and I said I was going to make the crane the official bird of Los Angeles, and I want to do the same for California, I was at a church in South Central, and this big brother, about 6'5", with a construction hat and a belt around him, you know, with the tools, said to me, "Why would I do that? Why would I care about that if I don't see black folk on construction sites?" I hate here with local hire that, you know, the Biden adopted. There were 2,500 black apprentices on those construction. So I think we need to build again. We need to grow our economy. We need to be better for business and make it easier for businesses to grow in this state. And we need to train and educate people for the jobs of the future, for the good jobs. I want to focus on that. I want to bring people together because, as you said, we're divided, including in this state. I don't want to tribes. I want to bring us together around the notion that a good job can change a man and a woman's life, that it can lift them up, and that hope is a feeling that you get, but you got to have results at the end of the rainbow to keep on hoping.
That's it.
I want to work on that. That's why I'm doing it.
Well, I'm glad you're in it. His race is tomorrow. So we'll get a chance to talk to him again down the road as he makes his move to become the governor of the state of California. And if it's off tomorrow, they'd be working together on a number of things.
Yes, we will.
In the coming years. My final question in 20 seconds. You think Kamala wins this tomorrow?
I do. I think it's going to be about turnout. We got more people on the ground. If we turn out more people, we're going to win. And that's hope and prayer. Should we not, we're gonna lead the effort to unite this state and to show the country that there's another way.
His name is Antonio Villaraigosa. He's the former mayor of the city of Los Angeles, now a candidate for governor in the Golden State. So we'll talk to him. We're down the road. Mayor, good to see you. All the best to you, sir.
Tavis, it's always good to see you. And you know, I listen to you and Dominique
I appreciate you, man.
DL and all of the folks, Ms. Martin.
I appreciate you.
So it's good to be on your program.
Now, he's a big supporter here of our local station in L.A., KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward, a conversation with the man who is likely going to take the seat that Dianne Feinstein held for 31 years in the U.S. Senate. So they're not just the president tomorrow. There are Senate races and House races, a lot of big races tomorrow. We'll talk to Adam Schiff when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Massachusetts voters will decide on Tuesday whether to decriminalize psilocybin, the psychedelic compound in mushrooms. Advocates highlight its potential benefits for depression and PTSD, while opponents call for more research. 2 men in Northern Virginia face charges after a street race between a Tesla Cybertruck and a Lamborghini. The Cybertruck driver turned himself in while the Lamborghini driver was arrested. Both were cited for traffic violations and released. The Justice Department will be monitoring voting in 27 states on Election Day. The department says it plans to monitor compliance with federal civil rights laws. The monitors will be in a total of 86 jurisdictions from Alaska to Arizona and Georgia to New Jersey. And college hoops get underway today. The top 2 teams in the nation are among those in action. Top-ranked Kansas hosts Howard, and second-ranked Alabama hosts UNC Asheville. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Progressive Insurance offers a great price and round-the-clock protection when bundling home and auto. It's one of those rare times where you could save money and get something great. Bundle today at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was a good day Sunday for both of LA's NFL teams. The Rams and Chargers were winners on the road. The Rams beat Seattle 26-20 in overtime. Third straight win for the Rams. Wide receiver DeMarcus Robinson caught a 39-yard touchdown pass in overtime to win it. Rams safety Cameron Kitchens had 2 red zone interceptions. He returned one of them for a 103-yard touchdown. The Rams are 4-4 after a 3-game losing streak. The Chargers are 5-3 after a 27-10 win at Cleveland. The Chargers defense had 3 interceptions and 6 sacks, 2 touchdowns for running back J.K. Dobbins. The Lakers are at Detroit tonight. Anthony Davis leads the NBA in scoring with 31.8 points per game. The Clippers are home tonight against San Antonio. The Clippers will try for the 5th time to get their first home win in their new arena, the Intuit Dome. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Don't forget that KBLA Talk 1580 is live on election night tomorrow. Expert analysis, notable guests, keen insights, plus your live phone calls. Reva Martin and Nicola Corte, who we'll talk to here in just a few minutes. They are on the East Coast tomorrow, live from Kamala Harris Election Night headquarters at Howard University. Dominic DePrima and yours truly are holding it down in studio here on the left coast. Our live coverage tomorrow at KBLA begins at 4 p.m. Pacific with a bevy of political insiders and regular contributors, including our own Adrian Shropshire, John Wood Jr., Deion Raymond, and many more. Again, live coverage on KBLA Talk 1580 tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific. We are KBLA, and we got a lot to talk about.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
When I'm by your side.
Nobody like Quincy Jones. He did it with everybody. And there were people who fought really hard for Quincy Jones to not produce Michael Jackson. They said, he's a jazz guy. He can't work with Michael Jackson. He's a jazz guy. I digress. Quincy Jones made Michael Jackson a bigger star than he could ever have imagined. Michael was always a bad boy, always was. But when Michael Jackson connected with Quincy Jones, he went into the stratosphere. Quincy Jones passed away yesterday here in his Bel Air home at the age of 91. And all 3 hours of this show today, we've been weaving in some of the best of Quincy Jones, who worked with everybody, who is anybody. If you had the honor of working with Quincy, you were blessed. Wednesday on our program, on our final hour, we'll spend a full 60 minutes in tribute to the now late, great Quincy Jones, Quincy Delight Jones. What a great middle name, perfect name for him. But we are sad to say that Quincy has now made his transition. That said, pleased to welcome to this program, as promised, the man who I suspect tomorrow will take the seat that years in the U.S. Senate, and he is the man who led the first impeachment against the guy that Kamala is running against tomorrow. He is Congressman Adam Schiff. Congressman, good to have you back on, my friend. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Great to be back on with you.
Great to hear your voice. Let's make the most of these 10 minutes or less that I have with you. Let's start with this. We will get to your race here in just a second, but as one of those national Democrats, as I said, you led the first impeachment of Donald Trump. How are you feeling on election eve?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic. I think Kamala Harris has run really a flawless campaign. She has been strong on her message. She's been great in her delivery. She's been strategizing in the right states. And she's done everything to put herself in a position to win. Now it's up to us to make sure that everybody turns out. And I think turnout's going to be really high, but it will be close. And given just how stark the choice is, astonishing to me that it's close at all, but it is close because I can't remember a time where we've had a more just far-reaching decision to make than the one we do tomorrow about which direction the country heads in. But I'm feeling optimistic.
Unpack that word "astonish" for me. I don't feel do Adam Schiff. It is astonishing. It is amazing. It's mind-boggling. I'm gobbling your word that this race is as close as it is, given what he represents. How do you read that? What do you make of that?
Well, it is astonishing because someone who is a criminal, after all. He's been convicted multiple times. He's someone so unethical, so filled with hate and bigotry that has become more and more apparent every day. And now he's talking about how he wants to go after within. He's fantasizing about putting political opponents like Liz Cheney before a firing squad. How is it possible that someone of such low character could be considered for dog catcher, let alone president of the United States? But it is close. I think it's a reflection of just how deeply divided the country is. But I'm optimistic. I think when needed, the Republican Party will finally move on from this horrible experiment in the most xenophobic populism and return to being a party of a conservative ideology again, and we desperately need them to move on.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that last point. Let me just this might seem like an unlikely question if it really isn't. He's a student of history, and given what he just said, I know he can handle this question. Should Donald Trump go down to defeat tomorrow? The point you just teed up, the GOP has to really rethink its future. I don't know that Trumpism has set in such a way that those sycophants of Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and others will continue pushing that party in that direction. But what's your sense of the reckoning the Republican Party will have if, in fact, he goes down tomorrow?
We lost with him in 2018, 2020, 2022, and now if they lose in 2024, need to move on, not because he's a liar, they didn't have a problem with that, and because he's immoral and even a criminal, that didn't, but because they keep losing with him.
Yeah.
And from self-interest, they'll decide they need to move on. Now, there'll be imitators, and J.D. Vance may be one of them, but we've seen the imitators really fall flat. Ron DeSantis tried to be an imitator. That didn't work for him. It's not working for J.D. Vance. And so I think the party does return to more of its roots. It becomes a party again where Liz Cheney or Romney or John McCain would have a home again. Ronald Reagan, for that matter, who would be completely unwelcome in today's Republican Party. So I'm optimistic they go back to being a more or less normal party and country heal and move on. And Kamala Harris has made it so clear, force to bring people together and do everything in her power to mend these divisions, and we desperately need that.
Let me pivot to your race in these last few minutes. I felt good about Kamala's chances tomorrow. How are you feeling about that guy Adam Schiff's chances tomorrow?
I feel pretty good about his chances too. I think Californians want someone who has a record of getting things done and delivering, which I do, but also somebody who's willing to stand up to it when it's necessary. And I think the guy I'm running against, who was a great baseball player back in, is so out of step with California. He supports these state abortion bans. He's for Trump. He wants to Medicare. He's against gun safety legislation. Those views may work in MAGA world, but they don't work in California. And so I think the contrast is a pretty clear one, and we feel good about it.
Yep. Don Feinstein, as you know, sat 31 years. Whenever you take over any seat, of course, you want to do it your own way. And yet her imprimatur on that seat, again, lasted for 3 decades. So if and when you pull this off tomorrow, what does Adam Schiff want to accomplish as a senator in the United States Senate from the great state of California?
Well, I would like to emulate what she did, which is she sat down with stakeholders all over the state and tried to bring people together and solve problems, and to take on some of the most difficult problems. And she was willing to take on some of the biggest bullies like the NRA and pass the assault weapons ban. So I think she provides a great model to follow. My top priorities are going to be addressing the shortage of housing in California, which is leading people to be unable to afford their rent or to ever buy a home, and leading people to be utterly homeless. But also make sure that we restore voting rights, that we restore reproductive freedom, that we bring down the cost of things so that we make the economy work for people again. Those are my top policy priorities, but I would very much like to emulate her ability to do the homework, meet with everyone, sit down, figure it out, and get to yes and move the state forward.
Here's my exit question. Now your time is tight, and I appreciate the time that we did have today to talk to you. If Kamala can, in fact, pull this off tomorrow, huge difference whether she has a House and a Senate with. So it's not just about the presidential race tomorrow, which I have you on. It's about the House and the Senate as well. What's your gut tell you about what she's going to have to work with in the Senate? Hakeem Jeffries, if they win the House, be the first brother to be the Speaker, where you serve now. What is she going to have to work with?
Well, I feel very confident she'll have a Democratic House to work with. And California, frankly, is going to be pivotal there because we have 6 or 7 seats just in California that could decide control of the House. Are in the driver's seat when it comes to making Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker. The Senate races are evenly divided, and our Democratic candidates are ahead in almost all of them, but we need to run the table, and we just may run the table. So in those circumstances, Kamala Harris will have a Democratic Congress in which we can do great things like in the first 2 years of the Biden-Harris administration. If it ends up being split government, then we'll have to muscle through and get things done and find common ground and do the best we can and hope that we have a reformed Republican Party that isn't just out to make the Democratic president a failure like they did with Obama and like they've tried to do with Biden. If we're going to move the country forward, we need to get beyond the ethic that says if we can just make the president of the other party a failure, then we'll somehow succeed. That's not a recipe for success.
He led the first impeachment trial against Donald Trump. He is now running for the U.S. Senate from California. And I expect, as we all do, that he will be the next U.S. Senator from the state of California in the seat that Dianne Feinstein held for over 3 decades. Adam Schiff, as always, good to be on this program. Thank you for your time, sir, and all the best to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Tavis. Great to be with you again.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
I appreciate you. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
Before running for state senate, Laura Richardson was named one of the most corrupt members of Congress, guilty on 7 counts of ripping off taxpayers and a pattern of deception trying to cover it up. Richardson is too shady for state senate. For your state senator, frontline nurses, classroom teachers, and Planned Parenthood Advocacy Project, support Democrat Michelle Chambers, a champion for abortion rights, higher wages for workers, and more affordable health care. Democrat Michelle Chambers for state senate.
Ad paid for by nurses and educators supporting Chambers for Senate 2024, sponsored by labor and nonprofit environmental and health organizations, Ad Committee's top funders, SEIU California State Council, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
It does indeed, but it's getting tight. My time is really tight here at the end of the show, but I want to get in Dr. Nicola-Corte, who is the Chief National Affairs Analyst and host of his own program, A More Perfect Union, on my home station in L.A., KBLA Talk 1580, given that we are heard across the country. He's a great colleague at home here in L.A., but also he is our White House Affairs correspondent for this program, so I'm pleased to have him on in these last few minutes. Nicola, how are you, sir?
I'm well, Tavis. How are you?
I'm well. So we're going to talk quickly here. So you're on your way to Philly. What do you do there first?
Well, I'm on my way to Philly to do our show, A More Perfect Union, which airs at 1 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm going to be covering the last stop for Vice President Harris and what has been an unprecedented presidential campaign. It's expected to be star-studded. It's expected to end on a high note.
Yep. I read the beautiful and brilliant op-ed that you have placed today. I'm sure it's out there nationally for people to read. So just say a quick word, top line, the op-ed you wrote about the Kamala Harris that you have interviewed and known over the years.
Well, I thought it was so important that every voter knows, exactly what's at stake in this election if Trump gets a second term. And I share some insights and reflections that Vice President Harris shared with me during our West Wing interview that took earlier this year. I thought it was important for every single voter to know. And so my thanks to the Atlanta Voice for publishing that and for everyone that is making it go viral on social media. It's important reading.
It's in the Atlanta Voice, and if you want to read it, you should check it out. I encourage you. It's called For the Love of Wakanda. I love that. For the Love of Wakanda. Harris told me in the West Wing and what people think of African descent, what people of Africa to lose in a second Trump term. And do it again, get it right. It's in the Atlanta Voice. It's entitled For the Love of Wakanda. Told me in the West Wing and what people of African descent have to lose in a second term. It's a powerful piece written by our own Dr. Corte. You can find it online in the Atlanta Voice. When we come forward, our remaining moments with Corte, you're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
My name is Anton Moore. Around here, we have hardworking people that just need a break. Whether it's investing in small businesses or making housing affordable, Vice President Harris gets it.
Kamala Harris is making sure black men have the tools to build generational wealth. She'll put a policy in place that gives 1 million forgivable loans to help entrepreneurs, including black entrepreneurs, start their own businesses. She also plans to give $25,000 in down payment assistance for first-time homeowners and crack down on racial bias in home appraisals. Harris's plan will help black men own more assets so we can build long-term wealth.
This is what an investment in my community looks like. We're trying to build generational wealth. No get-rich-quick schemes, no scams, no one-time check, none of that. Vice President Harris got our back. I'll be there on November 5th. Will you be there?
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
A final reminder here on today's show, KBLA Talk 1580 is live on election night. Expert analysis, notable guests, keen insights, plus your live phone calls. Reva Martin and Corte are on the East Coast, live from Kamala Harris election night headquarters at Howard University. Dominic DePrima and yours truly will be holding it down here in studio on the left coast. Our live coverage, once again, 4 p.m. tomorrow, Pacific time, with a bevy of political insiders and regular contributors, including our very own Adrian Shropshire, John Wood Jr., Dion Raymond, and more. Live coverage begins tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time with KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got a lot to talk about.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Looking to improve your situation? LA County is here to help. Free Wi-Fi can help you find job opportunities, stay on top of your health, and connect with vital resources. Whether you're seeking employment, healthcare info, or support services, the internet can open a lot of doors. Don't let the digital divide hold you back. Find your connection at libraries, parks, and community centers. To learn more about these resources, visit lacountyandU.com. That's lacountyandU.com.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
I mentioned Dr. Corte's op-ed in the Atlanta Voice. For the love of Wakanda, what Kamala Harris told me in the West Wing, and what people of African descent have to lose in a second term. That's at the Atlanta Voice. His book is called Kamala, the Motherland and Me, a best-selling book you can get anywhere books are sold. In fact, is an Amazon bestseller. It's called Kamala, the Motherland and Me. Great book. I highly recommend it. You've been traveling the country right quick, Corte, talking to all kind of black men on the eve of this election tomorrow. Tell me about it right quick.
That's right, Tavis. I've been talking to a number of black men from all corners of the country, including Pennsylvania State Representative Malcolm Kenyatta, who is on the ballot. He's running to become the next Auditor General for the state of Pennsylvania. You got to believe that Malcolm Kenyatta voters may also very well be Kamala Harris voters, as we're all paying attention to what happens in the Keystone State. But he wasn't the only person I talked to. I talked to Tony West, the brother-in-law of Vice President Harris. He's been her brother-in-law for about 26 years, and he's also a senior advisor to the vice president. Some people call him the chairman of the board in terms of folks who are in orbit with her. I had a chance to get to know who Tony West is, how he manages his relationship with his very famous sister-in-law, Vice President Harris. And you'll also hear what policies he's most excited about, policies that will make a material difference in the lives of black men, and what his closing argument is to all men. Last week, Tavis, he also shared on a personal note what he hopes his granddaughters who stole the show at the DNC, what he hopes they will remember about this election day.
My role on the campaign is all about what can I do to help her. And I feel very liberated in many ways in my ability to give her advice, to give her counsel, because it's unencumbered by any other interest, right? The only thing I want to make sure we are accomplishing is that she is the best candidate that she can be, that she is, and to the extent that I can be helpful here, that we are helping to prepare her to be the best president that she can be for the American people. And, you know, there's no job at the other end of this. There's no